So today I want to take a look at a very strange trend, that being the highly unusual amount of politicians, celebrities and religious figures that we've seen with black eyes. And I have my own suspicions about what's going on here, but in this video I'm just going to present you with the information and you can make your own mind up. But by the title of the video, I'm sure you can tell the direction that we're actually heading in. Now, before we get real deep into this, I'm going to go over a quick part of the story from the Osiris myth, that being from the Egyptian pantheon. I'm sure you're all aware of it, but just in case you're not, I want to be thorough. So, Osiris was the god who ruled Egypt. His younger brother Seth was jealous of him, blah blah blah, you know, the typical archetype in these stories. So Seth, alongside with his 72 conspirators, 72 is a very important number, 72 conspirators set up a plan and killed Osiris. Essentially, they tricked him into a coffin, and then they eventually ended up chopping him into 14 pieces, spreading his body over. I've read different variations of this. I've read all over the world and I've read all over Egypt. So his body was spread so he could not have a proper burial. It was then up to Isis, as we all know, to gather the pieces of Osiris. However, she found them all but the one single piece, which was the phallus. So the story says that she fashioned a golden phallus and impregnated herself with it, which then brought forth Horus, or Heru. Now, this tradition of fighting continued. Just as there was war between Osiris and Seth, there was now war between Horus and Seth. It was Horus's job to defeat Seth. However, during one of their encounters, Horus actually lost one of his eyes, specifically his left one, which symbolizes the moon, while the right eye symbolizes the sun. But we'll touch more on the moon side of things and the symbolism of that a little bit later, but right now what's important is that Horus lost his left eye in a battle with Seth, or Set, same person.
Use Egypt as an example because it's an easy example. So the war went on between Osiris and Set.
Yes.
Okay.
Dark and light.
Yes. Yeah. Set gathered together 72 of his cohorts and betrayed Osiris and stabbed him and then cut him up into 13 pieces and scattered them across the planet. Okay, with then Isis, with the help of a couple of others who are less important in my opinion, Isis then came, she found the pieces, but she didn't find the phallus. Okay, so she put them together, but she couldn't find the phallus. She knew that she needed to continue and propagate that bloodline because it was critical to what is happening now. If that bloodline hadn't continued, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing now. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So she created, through magic, a golden phallus. Then she made love to Osiris that way, and then Horus was born.
Yes.
But the truth of that is, Horus is Osiris reborn.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Horus is Osiris. They are not separate beings.
Mm-hmm.
They're one and the same thing. So then the battle continued between Horus and Set, and went on and on. Set then took Horus's eye, took his eye out. So and Set, you could say Setian. The Setian consciousness is the dark, probably satanic, vampiric, parasitic consciousness that's here, right? So Set took Horus's eye. And then when you see in the entertainment industry, when you see all the time doing this, you know the reason they're doing this? The reason they're doing this is they're saying, ha ha ha, we got his eye. We took his eye. So it's mocking. It's mocking Horus. It's mocking the good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the sun is born on winter solstice.
Yes.
Then he's betrayed in Ishtar, in Easter.
Yes.
Okay. And then he is brought back to life. And then so the cycle is
1 year cycle.
birth, betrayal, rebirth, birth, betrayal,
Rebirth and
death, rebirth. Yes, yeah. This is the magic of this cycle that we live in. If you can align yourself, this is why the religions do what they do, because you can align yourself with the power that goes with that. There's a lot of power to be taken from that. So when you have I'm trying to think of it, the royalty and the presidents and their Christianity, and they're not actually worshipping that. They're worshipping the ancient under the guise
Yes.
of that. Well, they're worshipping Set. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Isis and Horus is Mother Mary and Jesus.
Yes. Yes. And Set would be Lucifer. Yes.
One eye on the top of the pyramid.
That's his eye.
The same.
Yeah. It's also mocking.
And also, we are watching you, Big Brother.
Sure. It's like okay. It's like this. It's like they took his eye because Horus is much more powerful than all of these beings. But it's like we took his eye, we put it up there, and we're using the good, his eye, to watch you. So it's double mock. Double. Evil.
So I hope that made it a little bit clearer. If anyone's interested, that was Max Spears, and he's an English researcher, and he was murdered in 2016. You should most definitely look into him, because he's got some really interesting information regarding the powers that be, especially with what they're doing with the moon and Saturn and the moon matrix. So if you're interested in learning more about that and the reptilian agenda in general, then please do watch some of his videos, because the man does deserve it. He was literally poisoned for bringing this truth out, and because he was about to blow the lid off a huge connection between child trafficking and high-ranking military officials in the USA, specifically surrounding the known Satanists, the Quino. However, I digress. Back to the topic at hand. Now we have this story between Horus and Set. With that in mind, let's fast forward to the 21st century, and we seem to have these public figures appearing with these black eyes. Now, on the face of things, a black eye is just that. It's a black eye. It could have happened anyway. But there's something about these. I mean, you can see from yourself, like the type of swelling and bruising, the blood blisters, they're quite severe. I mean, like the Pope, like, yo, who the fuck socked the Pope? Like, it really looked like someone ran in this man's shit. Like, no one punches the Pope. Like, the type of people that are having these black eyes, if you think about their day-to-day routine, what are they doing? What are they doing that causes this to happen? I mean, I know they're not falling down the stairs or... So what's really going on here? Is this just a coincidence, or is there a ritual behind this, sort of like a gang jumping? Or is it something totally different that nobody would actually think of? Which brings me to the real topic of this video, which is soul scalping, or demon possession, demonic possession, for lack of better terms.